You're listening to Daily Sip with Marcel, giving you morning moments of insight, laughter, and a little something to stir the soul.
Yeah. Welcome back, sippers. It's time for another Daily Sip with Marcel. It's just you, me, and a fresh perspective on the things that matter most. I'm so happy you decided to turn in today. It's December 17th, 2025. Yeah, let's talk about some things today. But most of all, I want to thank you again for joining me. And I have started this new video type of podcast. This is day 2 of that. And so I'm asking you, I need some decor or whatever way you want to say it on my walls. So why don't you comment below and let me know what I should be putting up in the background of this studio. I'm really excited about sharing things with you, and it'll be great to get some feedback and see what people are thinking. Also, any topics that you want me to talk about. But usually what I do is I talk about the top headlines of the day, and I've got a few that we're going to talk about. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And we got some perspective of what's going on in life. I love it. And most of all, it's all about gratitude here. You're my sippers. And I call you my sippers because some of you have subscribed to Sunday in a Sip. If you haven't, you can subscribe at sundayinasip.com. On Sunday, that's a Sunday newsletter that goes out every Sunday morning, and it's a perspective of the previous week, and it's headlines and some nice little stories, and we have featured writers and so on and so forth. And I love to have you as a subscriber. So think about subscribing to sundayinasip.com. Go to sundayinasip.com and hit the subscribe button. If you're watching this on YouTube today, please subscribe. Hit that bell. Yes. Become a subscriber. I love to have you. I love to be able to communicate with you. I want to see comments. I want to see what's going on. And if you haven't listened to any of my other podcasts, here's a link here. So let's talk about one of the big headlines today. Our president, Donald Trump, has ordered a complete naval blockade of all sanctioned oil tankers entering and leaving Venezuela. This follows the seizure of an oil tanker by the U.S. military off of Venezuelan coast last week. The total and complete blockade and sanctions ordered by the Trump administration are driven by a strategy they're calling the maximum pressure. Yeah. Oil exports account for roughly 90% of Venezuela's export revenue. By blocking these shipments, particularly those using the dark fleet to sell to China, the United States aims to bankrupt the Maduro regime, making it impossible for him to pay the military and security forces that keep him in power. That's the deal. The White House has designated the Maduro regime a foreign terrorist organization, or what they call an FTO. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent and President Trump have accused the regime of using oil profits to finance drug trafficking, or what they call now narco-terrorism, and human trafficking and international terrorist groups like Hezbollah. Yeah. So here's something many of you may not know. That is that the recovery of these, what they're calling stolen assets, this refers to nationalization of U.S. oil assets like those of ExxonMobil and ConocoPhillips. When the Venezuelan government took ownership and control of oil resources nearly 2 decades ago. So the Trump administration demands these assets be returned or compensated. So the bottom line, my friends, is that Maduro and the Venezuelan government has been stealing our oil, our company's oil, our company resources, and profiting by it or selling it to, China or other countries. That's why it's called sanctioned oil. That's the problem. Maduro and the Venezuelan government is a regime that is bad stuff. Oh, my friends, there is an opposition to the Maduro regime. And you might have heard of María Corina Machado. She is regarded as the heart of the movement. She was banned for running for office and has been living in hiding due to threats, but she remains the spiritual leader of the opposition. You might have known about her. She just was awarded the 2025 Nobel Peace Prize for her tireless work promoting democratic rights and uniting the opposition. Yeah. And here is a sip for you, María Machado. Yes. Standing up for the opposition, and the United States is definitely there to help. So what do you think, my friends? Comment below. I'd like to hear what you think about this sanctioned Venezuelan oil, and let me know. Comment below. Let's talk about it. I'd like to hear your thoughts. So let's take a break right now and hear from one of our sponsors.
Breathe deep. Sip slow. A Fura coffee.
All right, my friends, that brings us to the bottom of the cup for this Wednesday, December 17th. We've spent a lot of time today talking about naval blockades, dark fleets, and economic strangleholds. We've looked at the chessboard of geopolitics, where sanctions are the pieces and the oil tankers are the pawns. It's easy to get lost in the strategy of it all. Yeah. The maximum pressure, the politics of the White House, and the billions of dollars at stake. But if there's something that you need to know, and I want you to understand, the most powerful fuel in the world isn't oil. It's resistance. While navies patrol the waters and the politicians argue over assets, remember the people on the ground. And remember leaders like María Corina Machado accepting a Nobel Peace Prize while living in hiding. Remember the voters who stood in line for hours, holding onto tally sheets like shields. The lesson for us today isn't that democracy isn't a dealt setting. It isn't something you buy. It's something you build, and often, sometimes you have to fight to keep. Systems can be sanctioned and borders can be blocked, but you cannot blockade an idea whose time has come. The pressure is rising. Yes, my friends, but pressure is also what turns coal into diamonds. Keep your eyes on the horizon, folks. History is being written right now, and the pen is in the hands of the persistent. Yes, sometimes you have to fight to keep. Thanks for spending part of your day with me. If today's sip gave you something to think about, smile about, or share, pass it on. Be sure to follow the show so we can keep sipping together. Until next time, I'm Marcel. Stay grounded, stay grateful, and I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you for letting me be part of your day. And until next time, keep noticing what makes life taste a little better. And if you're loving this, don't just sip in silence. Follow us, hit the subscribe button, and pour this into someone else's cup. Share it, spread it. Let's wake the world up together, one daily sip at a time.